Hello, my marvellous sausages. That strange noise is me going, I don't know what's going on anymore with this game. I really don't. Because, well, you've all probably heard by now that this TWID thing came out with a few duff announcements in it. But what's been totally baffling me is that I thought, right, that when Solstice came along, it looked like, ooh, that's the right track. Because it was the first kind of generally positiveness that was coming out of Destiny 2 from the people who played it for quite a long time. Even when, you know, Edge of Fate came out, people liked the story, but they didn't like anything else. There's so much more changes that happened, and people disliked the changes, or it's just too much to get used to, and it pushed people to move on. And I think that's totally fair enough. And then we did Solstice, and I was I didn't know what to make of all of these changes. Because I thought, right, I'm putting up with the way these changes are, just so that it's a building block, or it's a foundation for them to build off of, right? And then when Solstice came along, I thought, bloody hell, they've done something quite clever here. They've integrated the grind with an event, and it felt really productive, and I went up to a much higher level than I ever thought I would. I'm on 364 at the moment. I attribute most of that, or nearly all of it, to Solstice, because I was really enjoying playing it. I'm a bit split on the fact that I was playing just the same old stuff again and again, but okay, I understand that completely, but I want to give them a chance to stick stuff in to flesh the game out again. It's weird, isn't it, when you think about it? It's like we're building back up to a place where we were 4 years ago in lots of ways. All the stuff that was there before now is all being brought back in. But anyway, that's by the by. What I'm trying to say is that with Solstice, we had loads more rewards and people were generally a lot more happier. And I thought, right, Bungie have seen this, because remember then, they said they released not a statement, but it was a tweet or something or other. I can't remember what exactly it was. But what it said was, we need to work on speeding up the power grind. And everybody went, right, great, that's a good idea. That's great. And we're all a bit worried about what's going to happen in Renegades when it all gets reset to 200. And we're all going to feel like we're going to have to start again. Which we are in lots of ways. I don't know how the tier 5s are going to work. We're going to stop earning tier 5s and we've got to build our way up to get them again. Probably. And you know what? I'm not even convinced they're going to drop that anymore. I think they're probably going to end up keeping it. Particularly from what they've made changes-wise, and what they're going to be making changes-wise from this new TWID. Because the problem with this new TWID stuff that they've said is that they're not boosting very much. They're nerfing the stuff that's making it go better for us. And that's primarily solo ops. Because they've said, basically, that solo ops wanted to be something that was just a small thing for them to do, okay? Something that you would just do for 10 or 15 minutes at the end of a session with all your mates and all that sort of stuff, but completely ignoring the fact that there's a vast, huge, massive majority out there, not majority, a massive amount, let's get that right, of players who like to play solo. I'm one of them. I think that's what my channel is kind of mostly about. I do play with folk, of course I do, but I've always kind of been a solo player, and the solo ops was kind of a really good thing for us, and we thought, ooh, this is great. We're being valued a bit more. What they decided to do now is drop the amount of power levels that you can go up from doing solo ops by 1. So if you'd have, say for example, I'm 364, instead of having a 366 drop, it'll be a 365. That, even though it's only one number, has really prolonged the grind if you're doing it solo. Now, I know you can go into Fireteam Ops and you go into Pinnacle Ops as well, but what we really wanted them to do was not bring that down, was to bring the others up to it. Why not just bring the others up? I'll tell you exactly why. Because it'll shorten the power grind, and that's all it's got going for it at the moment, is the power grind, really speaking. Because they've got to try and bring back everything into the game, and I've said this time and time again over the last couple of weeks. I don't think we appreciate how big of a change the Edge of Fate was. They've reset the game, and we've got so many different systems vying for our attention that they're having real trouble balancing it, but for some reason they're not listening to what folk are saying. Now, I understand We're not right half the time, or even not even half the time. You know what I mean? We just saying how we feel. You know what I mean? We do feel that the grind is too long. And when Edge of Fate launched, they should have had much more tiered gear ready to go. I mean, you have a little look through collections here. We've got a weapons. I mean, look at them all. Look at them all. Look at them all. There's pages and pages and pages and pages of stuff that's no good anymore. All right, I know it's not no good anymore, but we all feel like, because it's not part of the new system, nobody wants it. So they really should have brought far more in the game ready to go from the start and be utilising all that stuff to encourage people to play. I was totally depressed, right? I always go and have a little look at the Steam chart. And I even did a video on it, I think it was a week and a half ago. And it was staying up and it was buoyant and all that. And I thought, oh great, it was in position, 25. I thought, oh, that's good. Look back in again, it's in position 60 odd with 25,000 people. And Warframe, which is probably the nearest competitor to it, is like on 56,000. More than double. And I think a lot of that's down to Solstice finishing, and then putting the icing on the cake, these new changes that are going to be upcoming that make people feel that their time isn't valued. Do you know what I mean? Because you feel kind of guilty making videos sometimes, saying, oh, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this for a few hours and all that. Well, people don't have a few hours, you know what I mean, in a day to do it sometimes. They might have a few hours a week, but they don't have a few hours a day. I mean, I play it a bit more than your average player, but I don't play it anywhere near as much as the people who really dedicate themselves to being excellent at the game. I'll never be excellent at the game, but I don't give a monkey's toss about that. Gaming for me is all about enjoying yourself. So the time investment is a vital part of it. And you want to feel like when you're putting your time in, it's being valued and you're going up a little bit more than we are. So in this TWID, they presented some graphs and things, and basically, if you look at these graphs, I mean, I get bored to tears with this kind of thing, but I suppose it's useful data. And what it means is, if it's a short, sharp spike like that, it means people are playing it and doing it, and they're all happy with it. But the longer and lower the spike means the harder it is people are finding to finish it to get the rewards, basically. So you can see, I'm going to show you this graph here. Hang on a second. So looking at these graphs they've got here, we've got solo ops spiking and then pinnacle ops long and low. So that's the activity duration, but there's less people completing it. So if there's less people completing it, I don't know why they've done this, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So what they've done is nerf the rewards. What? Oh, yeah, people aren't, that's not getting as many completions, and it seems to be, yeah, let's nerf the rewards. Why are you doing it? And then when I read it, I read this on a stream, and I couldn't quite believe it, really. Listen, right, Encore, end activity engrams reduced to 2. It should have been increased to 4. Mid-activity chests reduced to 2, should have been increased to 3. Star-crossed, end activity engram reduced to 1. I'm not playing it. There's my response to that. Mid-activity chest reduced to 1. I'm still not playing it. There's my response to that. And this one, mid-activity chest removed in the Whisper. What did they do that for? They should have boosted them. Boosted up. I was really hoping, I don't know how much more Ash and Iron will bring to the game. We'll have a little quick look at what they're talking about bringing in with Ash and Iron. But in regard to rewards, what are they bringing in? How many of the old rewards are going to be tiered? Or is it only going to be newer stuff going to be tiered from now on? If that's the case, it feels like there are 2 games under one roof. You've got all the older stuff and all the newer stuff. Now, as part of Ash and Iron and the free update, I really hope they bring a nice big chunk of the old weapons, old armor, all tiered, and pour them into the rewards, okay? I really hope that. I really hope that when we get the newer stuff, they don't do what they did with Seasons, and the older stuff becomes, well, meaningless and pointless to play. What I want them to be doing is making everything relevant to play. So all the stuff that we're playing now has all the rewards that you could have. I hope that the stuff that doesn't come in with Ash and Iron, that gets a better leaning of rewards and the older stuff doesn't. They need to bring it all up. Make the entire game feel relevant and feel like it's somewhere you can go to earn the stuff. Now, in all fairness, they have already walked back one of the changes that they're going to make. It said that you'd have to go to Rahul to start decrypting your prime engrams because, you know, they were very important because they were so few and far between. But people seem to go, no, I don't want to go and do that. I got to go to the tower and I got to go and see him. Well, I mean, people don't really lose them. If you lose them, they go to the post office. You know they're there. Do you know what I mean? So they've actually walked that change back, okay? So they have been... they have heard what people have said about that one thing. And you know what? I really want the game to do well. I know it's my bread and butter a lot of the time. And, you know, that's fair enough. But also, why can't they understand what people want? It's just totally baffling to me. Are they being too clinical about it? Are they looking at graphs and going, well, this plus this plus this equals this, so let's do that? But by doing that, you kind of miss the human element of it as well. The frustration that something, just because something looks well and would work well on paper, doesn't mean it works well within the gaming environment. So then, what should they be doing? Well, they've got to walk back a lot of these things that they've just said. They need to start adding rewards to things, not taking them away. They need to leave solo ops where it is and make fireteam ops a more attractive proposition. Although, in all fairness, it isn't too bad. You do get a shed load of rewards on it. But then I think then you double down into the difficulty thing where you've got all the different modifiers and things. Because I ran, what was it? I think it was, what was it? It was not Vault of Glass. What's it called? The Glassway the other day. And my God, this was the match-made one that I took from the top. It was really hard. It was really hard. We were getting absolutely our asses handed to us. So there's something weird going on there with spikes and difficulties in certain things too. So it seems that it's not going to be as straightforward as perhaps I'm hoping that it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? The pinnacle rewards, they need to leave well alone and increase them too. They need to bring loads of older gear back in as tier 5s and do that. And what I really don't understand is how they didn't see the reaction that this would get. That's the strange thing, isn't it? Why didn't they see the reaction this was going to get? Surely, because I know, you know, their community team, I think they're really good, and they're always out there talking to people, and they're an intermediary at the end of the day between the game developers and us, so they're just passing information back and forth. How much the game developers listen to what we have to say is one thing. They may have a goal in mind, right, that we don't know anything about. If that's the case, though, they need to explain it to us so we can make a better understanding of what's going on. I do think, as it goes on, it'll feel better, but I think that by putting out changes like this, that's going to make people go, oh, it's making it even harder now, I don't want to play it. And they're going to lose more people. It's there in the numbers. They are losing people again. I tell you what, and there's always drama with this game, isn't there? It's crazy how much stuff always goes on with it. We had, you know, Pete Parsons resigning, which a lot of people feel will be better for the game. And we'll just have to see how it progresses from here. Let me know in the comments what you think. I just wanted a bit of a chinwag with you on this Saturday evening stroke afternoon, because I just wanted to get it off my chest again. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. It is always an utter pleasure, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. Sausage hurt.
You're on the right track. Keep drilling down. You'll hit gold soon enough.
We're picking up big energy spikes below your feet. Odds are